Hi everyone, this is another video in follow-up to the government's announcement last Friday that they were introducing furloughed worker status under the coronavirus job retention scheme. We have finally got some further clarity on the scheme now. It's not particularly easy to find. If you go onto the gov.uk website and type in claim for wage costs through the coronavirus job retention scheme, all that guidance is now on there. This furloughed worker scheme is designed to protect those who would have otherwise have been laid off either temporarily or permanently made redundant, and the government's intention is to provide a wage subsidy to prevent those individuals from becoming unemployed. We've got an FAQs document which has been updated. It will go on our website and I will post it on LinkedIn as well. So what I'm going to do is take you through the newer elements of the scheme which have been announced and which we've been fielding questions about over the past week or so. So in terms of who is covered under the scheme, anybody who was on PAYE payroll on the 28th of February, either as a full-time, part-time employee, as an agency worker paid through PAYE who is not working, flexible employees and those on 0 hours contract will be covered. Those employees who were made redundant after the 28th of February but who are rehired will also be included. But importantly, anybody hired after the 28th of February will not have an entitlement to be furloughed under this scheme. So we know that a new portal will be set up by HMRC. As part of that portal, employers will submit information about their employees and can claim up to 80% of the employee's usual wage costs, up to £2,500 a month. Now, in addition to those wage costs, the employer will also be able to claim for employers' national insurance contributions and the minimum automatic enrolment employer pension contributions on that wage. So any enhancement paid will still be the responsibility of the employer, but these statutory contributions will be covered. In terms of how we calculate what the worker is due, if they are a salaried employee, it's very simple. We look at the actual salary before tax as of the 28th of February to calculate the 80%. The guidance states that fees, commission and bonuses should not be included in that. For those employees whose pay varies, if they've been employed for 12 months, the employer can choose the higher of the same month's earnings from the previous year or an average 12-month earnings from the 2019-20 tax year. If the employee has been employed for less than a year, an average of their monthly earnings since they started can be claimed, and if they only started in February 2020, use a pro rata for their earnings to work out how much they should be paid and how much the contribution should be. We've had a number of questions about work that can be undertaken whilst furloughed. It's abundantly clear that no work of financial or direct financial benefit to the employer can be undertaken while on furloughed leave. If an employee has secondary employment, the guidance states that can continue, and technically an employee can be furloughed from 2 jobs. And there is no restriction on volunteering if an employee wishes to do so. It appears that an employee can undertake training whilst furloughed as long as it does not provide services to the employer or generate additional revenue for that employer. If workers are required, for example, to undertake online training whilst they're furloughed, they must be paid at least the national living wage or national minimum wage as applicable for that training which is undertaken and the time that it takes. We've had a lot of questions about employees on leave for other reasons, and there does appear to be some flexibility under the rules on this. If an employee was placed on unpaid leave after the 28th of February, they are entitled to be furloughed. So that would cover somebody who is not only laid off, but we think also those who may be on unpaid leave for childcare reasons. So since since all schools were closed except to key workers, you might have some employees who are on unpaid leave at the moment. They can be converted to furloughed leave. If an employee is on sick leave, the suggestion is that they should remain on sick leave and would be entitled to statutory sick pay or company sick pay as applicable. The same for self-isolation as well, but once an employee is fit to return to work, they can be furloughed in the normal way. Importantly, employees who are shielding in line with public health guidance can be placed on furlough. So we know that around 1.5 million individuals were written to with very serious underlying health conditions. If they are shielding, the suggestion is that they can be furloughed and can receive the 80% grant under the Furloughed Workers Scheme. If an employee is off on family-related leave, such as maternity leave, they can be furloughed, but they would then still be entitled to the statutory pay, which they would have been receiving anyway, so statutory maternity pay. If there's any enhancements, so some businesses do run contractual enhanced maternity schemes, that enhancement can be reclaimed as part of the Furloughed Workers Scheme. Another very common question we've had from ever since the announcement was made is whether you can rotate a furloughed worker. Now, the guidance states that a claim can only be submitted every 3 weeks, which means an employee once furloughed must be furloughed for a minimum of 3 weeks. However, after that, it does suggest that a worker can be brought back and can be placed on furlough more than once. Now, this thankfully does suggest that furlough leave can be rotated, and that is very important in situations where employers want to be fair and have a number of individuals performing the same work within the business. In terms of other questions, they are catered for in the FAQs that we've prepared. It's been clarified that an employee on furlough leave does indeed retain continuity of service, and their other terms and conditions not relating to pay are maintained. They are still working on a date of the end of April for the scheme to be set up, and further information is likely to be given about those claims in due course. So for now, many of our employer clients have already prepared letters and reached agreement with their staff to furlough a number of workers. This guidance might open up more possibilities in terms of the type of worker who may be eligible, particularly in relation to that leave that they may already be on. If you do need any further guidance, then by all means, please look at the free resources on the website. Share the guidance with whoever you may feel benefits from this. And if you want to speak to one of the team, then please do contact us. Thank you.